This is UCAPehan. In today's program, we will talk to one of the most decorated sports broadcasters in the country, Mr. Noel Zarate. What made him who he is today? How was his journey to his broadcasting success? And how is he now giving back to the industry that made him one of the most sought-after broadcasters? Okay, Sir Noel Zarate, salamat for gracing our show and we thank you. You know, your caliber, nakakatuwa na you said yes to our invitation.
Parang ang tanda ko na.
Ayun naman. So, this show is basically a show that, features people that have impact in the lives of many, especially in our broadcast and media industry. And you're one of them. And for those of our viewers who might not have recognized you, kasi boses lang kadalasan narinig sa inyo, especially in PBA. So, konting background naman, sir, as to what you do now.
Well, I'm actually a broadcaster nga ng PBA, as you said. I've been working in the industry since 1994. So this will be my, ilan na to?
94?
26th year. After that, I started actually out as a musician and then transitioned into this. And mahabang story yan, so mamaya ako nakikwento sa inyo. But basically, since 2001, I've taken the liberty to reach out to other people who want to be broadcasters and taught them everything that I know. I started out with a group, now I'm doing this alone, teach them everything that I know para pag nakapasok sa industriya, ready na sila, like yourself.
Correct, like me.
Yes.
I started from you and then here I am. Sir, I think it's now time to reflect from your growing up years and would like to know how life was back then.
Walang internet, number one. So everything was a lot simpler back then. But when I was a kid, I would keep on saying this during the workshop is 8 years old pa lang ako, broadcaster na ako. So ang ginagawa ko before, when I was 8 years old, I'd be watching the PBA. I already watched the PBA for sabihin natin, months already. So medyo kilala ko na yung players. What I used to do is, I used to turn down the volume of the TV and then I would do my own play-by-play. I would do my own Dick Ildefonso pang ang anchor nun, saka si the late Emmy Arcilia. So I would turn that on. I would do my own thing like that. And then my father would come in and he would see na, baka may laman to, di ba? Actually, just a brief backgrounder also. My father was actually an actor. Actor, architect, but he was also a broadcaster before he became an actor. So radio personality rin siya nung araw during the 60s. And then when he saw that there might be potential in that, so medyo sinuportahan din. He brought me to my first PBA game, introduced me to Dick Ildefonso, who was a personal friend of his pala. Then I got my first pointers from Tito Dick. And from then on, I said, okay, I want to be a broadcaster. But then, hindi nangyari. Lumiko yung aking path. I wanted to take up mass comm in college, but for some reason, hindi ako pumasa sa UP Diliman. Di ba alam mo yung you know how it goes, di ba? Sa pagpili ng course at saka ng campus.
Yes.
Di ba? You have first choice of campus, second choice of campus, tapos first course at saka second course, di ba? So pumasa ako sa first course for second campus dun sa UPCAT. Sabi ko UP or basta ko, I don't want to study anywhere else except UP, di ba? So sinabi ko sa parents ko, pumasa ako Mascom. Tuwa sila. Saan? UP Baguio. Sa unang hirit ng nanay ko, wag doon, magiging drug addict ka doon. Dito ka na lang, find a way to get into Diliman. Okay, so
regardless of course na.
Regardless of course, sinabi ko lang na okay, pakapasok lang ng Diliman, mag-shift ako. Kahit na yung course yun. It so happens that my uncle was an alumni of the UP College of Music noong time na yon. And medyo musically inclined naman ako growing up. It's a very musical family. My father's side, mahilig sa music. My mom used to sing. Actually, my mom, very few people know, was actually the ex-girlfriend of Jose Marichan.
Wow.
So medyo may connection din. May connection din sa music. Actually, yung Christmas song ni Jose Marichan, Christmas in Our Hearts, di ba? Let's sing Merry Christmas. Yung original lyrics nun was actually a campaign written by my mom. It's called Ang Tubig Ay Buhay. So after the campaign was over, Jose Marichan asked my mom, can I use the song to make a Christmas song? Sabi ng mom ko, okay lang naman.
Buti binigay ang copyright.
Binigay. Kasi my mom wrote the lyrics Diba? Siya gumawa ng kanta. Diba? So sabi, gawin kong Christmas song, okay lang. And it turned out to be that. So yun ang pang-usherin natin ng Christmas. But so I grew up in a musical family na sige, okay, subukan natin sa UP College of Music kung makapasa. Awa ng Diyos, nakapasa. So, I was there. Okay, nasa UP Diliman na ako. Tapos, if you're familiar nga with the geography of UP, I stayed in Abelardo Hall. sa kabilang side is Plaridel Hall, which is Mascom.
Okay.
So lalakarin,
across the street lang talaga.
Oo. So sabi ko, dyan ako lilipat.
So hindi ka naman naka-feel na parang dapat nandyan ako eh.
Exactly. That's how I felt, di ba? Nagsiscales ako sa piano, nakatingin ako sa kabila. Dapat
nandun
ako nag-aaral kesa nagpa-piano ako dito, di ba? So that was my goal. After my sophomore year, mag-shift ako. But then God has a certain way of saying, no, dyan ka muna.
Okay ka na dyan.
Rumakit ka na muna dyan, di ba? Then I started learning about music and I found that it could be lucrative pala, the music industry. And then I decided to stay. Hindi na ako nag-shift. And then broadcasting came way later on, but that's another story.
So as in, nawala na yung pagiging broadcaster mo during the college?
Hindi ko na hinanap.
I'd like to ask also, because your father was an actor.
Yes.
You know? Wala bang inclination into the acting business?
There's a funny story there actually na when we were all young, we used to join plays also. I studied in OB Montessori. If you know Mrs. Sullivan who runs OB Montessori, everybody has to be arts inclined when we were growing up. So I was joining all the plays, diba? I was singing in the choir, ganon. And then they knew that my father was an actor. Noel Zarate actually is the name of my father. And then sabi, ba't hindi ka maging artista? Then one of my cousins said, walang ilong eh. So it occurred to me, oo nga, anong tangos ng ilong ng airpot ko? Ako wala akong ilong. So that might be a deterrent. At you know, you're programmed at a very young age na wala kang ilong, hindi ka na pwede maging artista, di ba? Hindi ko lang tinignan yung mga kontrabida. Kung may ilong, di ba? Pwede naman maging kontrabida.
Pwede naman pala. Or character actor.
Yeah, you could be a character actor. Like my father actually was a character actor. So I never really pursued it. But I was active in theater until college. But never thinking I would be a professional actor. So, sort of found my niche already nung sinabi ng tatay ko, okay, broadcasting, sundan mo.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sort of stayed in that lane but never veered away from theater sa buong college life ko. Dulang UP ako. I mean, I was part of like several productions also sa UP as either an actor or as a musical director.
Yeah.
So, yun yung I never really got into acting because nga natatak sa utak ko, wala akong ilong. Yun.
So, life after UP basically became a musically inclined person. Everything that you do is music back then.
Yeah.
So, paano, how was it? I mean, what transitioned your, whatever it is that you're doing then, what made you decide from your very lucrative music business to becoming a broadcaster again?
Well, you know what? It never leaves you. I mean, that was my goal as a child talaga. As an 8-year-old, I will be a broadcaster. Then I watched this movie in 1983. It's called Special Report. I found it recently. I think I shared it with a few people already. Na nakita ko yun. That made me decide to become a broadcaster even more. But then, nung hindi ako pumasa sa UP Diliman in my first course, I took on music. I just decided, sige, dito na lang muna ako sa music. But I never lost touch of sports. Parati pa rin ako nanonood ng PBA, manonood pa rin ako ng NBA. And not only basketball, I would watch all the sports. Diba? It's like strange for a kid to grow up and know about baseball na hindi naman pinapalabas sa Pilipinas. Diba? To know about guys like Dan Marino and John Elway na hindi naman pinapalabas dito sa Pilipinas ang NFL. So, medyo nerd pa rin ako pagdating sa sports. So much so na one day I was attending a seminar and I bumped into a gentleman by the name of Bill Velasco. So Bill Velasco at the time, and this was in 1994, he's like a big shot sportscaster talaga. So Bill and I had a conversation. I mean, we only met there. Then he said, I'm impressed with your sports knowledge. Why don't you come and audition for us? Where's this? Sabi ko, Philippine Basketball League. Oh, PBL. Oh, yeah. You go to Cuneta Astrodome. We have a game there on Friday, blah, blah, blah. So, I went, naka-base pa ako and everything, nagpa-manicure pa ako just to make sure na
so audition proper talaga siya?
It was a sort of an audition na alam na niya siya yung parang executive producer of TV.
So he knows that he's gonna get you?
Yeah, he's gonna get me. So binlagay niya ako sa courtside, di ba? Just to try me out. Then eventually I worked my way up to the panel. Kasama ko pa noon si Nori Uy, who was the former commissioner of the PBA. I did my first game with Noli. And then, so nag-panel ako for a time and then, but I also had to do my recording studio at the same time. So super siya talaga. It's super, I'm not thinking about this as a source of income at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to, iniisip ko nga during a game minsan, naku, may dalawa pa akong jingle na kailangan tapusin, di ba? Hindi ko pa na-reglo yung isang kanta ni ganito.
And that's where the money is.
Yeah, that's
yung
where
music,
the money is. I mean, you know, being in the music industry yourself, you know how lucrative it is also. Maging arranger ka, di ba? I was arranging pieces for orchestras already. At the time, as in, minamano-mano ko pa, hindi pa uso yung mga software na ganyanin mo lang lalabas na mamano-mano ko. Ano na nga ba yung transposition ng ng clarinet? A flat pa siya o B flat? So magta-transpose pa ako on the fly. As in talagang ganun ako nerd sa sa music. And then so pinagsabay ko siya for a time, and then I said, teka muna, concentrate na ako sa studio ko. And our studio, in 1997, nag-celebrate ng first year anniversary. We started in 1996.
Yeah.
And then we had our first year anniversary, so we invited some friends, mga ganon. Merong TV doon na palabas yung replay ng NBA Finals. So, nakainom na si Noel, di ba? Nakainom, lahat naman, nakainom na. So, ang ginawa, binaba yung volume. Nag-play-by-play akong lasing, tapos may pa-analyst din akong lasing. So, it was really funny. But at the same time, it was so in sync with the game na meron palang isang bisita doon, producer pala sa Vintage Enterprises at the time. And then so she made a phone call. Actually, while that was going on, she was on the phone already. Guys, you gotta check this guy out. There's a guy here who might be able to work for us. At the time, musician nga ako. So I had long hair, punit-punit na jeans, yung mga
as an artist na itsurahin talaga.
Exactly. Wala pa nga itong balbas. This came later on, di ba? Sipong pag ganyan, mukha na ako Heber Bartolome, di ba? Pag nangyari yun. But then a few days later nga, I actually did get a call to audition. So pagpunta ko dun sa opisina ng Vintage, which was at the time sa Carlos Palanca, not too far from here, no? Carlos Palanca Street, Carlos Palanca Building. May daming tao. As in, like, literally about 50 people were there. I saw some members of the media. May nakilala ko mga ibang DJs, FM DJs, magaganda ng boses, mga gano'n. Sabi ko, what the heck am I doing here with my long hair, di ba? So, I went through the process, nag-audition ako. Then again, I didn't think much about it na. Went back to my music life. And then 2 days later or 3 days later, can you come back? Oh, sige.
But during this time, you're not thinking about making it?
Wala.
Kasi wala talaga.
Iniisip ko yung mga deadline ko eh. Grabe naman itong mga to. Kakagaling ko lang dyan. May kailangan pa ang tapusing areglo, di ba? But I still went there, still did my best. And then, the next call I got, a week later na, was from one of the executives na si Tita Olive Villafuerte, saying na, can you come here, magbihis ka naman?
Kasi the first few ones, wala talaga.
Wala talaga. As in, buti nga, pinapasok ko sa building looking like, I hope I brought a picture na, ganun yung itsura ko. But I was a lot thinner then, of course. So, they made me dress up. So, naka-necktie na ako, pumasok na ako. I thought it was gonna be a VTR naman. But then it turns out that I was brought into a room where there were 5 people present. So the names of the people there were Ronnie Nathaniels, Bobong Velez, Ricky Velez,
the pillars,
Tita Olive, and Butch Maniego, who was the executive producer of radio at the time. So biglang sinabi lang nila, congratulations, you got it. There was one slot being contested pala for radio. And out of all of those, this long-haired dude, ang sabi pa nga ni Ronnie Nathaniels, he looks like a wrestler. Why'd you hire him? He looks like a wrestler. Parang
I'm trying to imagine ano itsura mo nung araw eh.
It's like long hair. I swear, it's like long hair up to the bra line nga. Sabi ko, pinagmamayabang ko, umabot na ng bra line yung buhok ko. As in really long hair. Tapos chatu pa rito sa gilid. Tapos long hair, tapos I had a favorite fatigue jacket. Parati ko suot. Kahit mainit, suot ko yun. Yung fatigue jacket. Punit-punit talaga. As in, kung hindi punit yung pantalon ko, pupunitin ko. Yung mga ganun. Tapos naka, moccasins, or hindi pa nga uso Birkenstock nung time. Parang chinelas lang talaga.
Yeah, but before this episode, have you had any other audition opportunities then? Like, in your music career, etc. Did you do auditions or wala talagang...
Wala sa music. Wala. I mean,
So, hindi ka sanay mag-audition?
Hindi talaga eh. The audition that we did, just to give you an idea, we were put in front of a TV and then they played a game. I remember the game was Shell versus somebody. Basta it's a Shell game. Benji Paras pa naglalaro. And then said, okay, do the play-by-play. So I would do the play-by-play for that. And then they said, okay, after the timeout, you try to do analysis naman. So inaral ko naman yung play. Okay, they're running a high-low play here. So inaral ko yung play ng Shell. And then they said, okay na yan. Just like half a quarter. Halos yung ginawa ko. Then the next time I came back, boom first half na, pinagawa sa akin, mahaba na. So they tried to make me go analyst, they tried to make me go anchor also. Yung mga ganun. So tinignan lang nila basically the timing.
Yeah.
Which for some reason, since I was 8 years old, I already had the timing already of how to do it. That's a talent already, I guess. Na you can't teach that.
Parang hereditary na yun no?
Oo, I guess, because my dad used to do it, di ba? But then, mula 8 years old hanggang ko, the timing was always there. So, that's what they found. Radio is different from TV, as you know, di ba? Radio talagang talkative country.
Kailangan na-imagine mo yung sinasabi.
Oo, lahat ng audience mo bulag eh. So, you have to keep painting a picture of what's going on in the place. Ultimo, kahit na yung baklang tumawid sa court, Kikwento mo yun eh. Oh, that comes out in your broadcast. So, I became quite good at that. Although nung umpisa, I really sucked at it. But I became quite good at that with the help of the seniors na kasama ko. Sila Mon Liboro, Randy Sakdalan, Rado Di Malimot. They were always helping me along the way.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, these are the names that I've been hearing during the broadcast. Mon Liboro, sa radyo.
Yeah.
So, how was it, yung gusto kong malaman yung feeling how did you feel when you finally, realized na ito na, I made it after a few tries?
Parang nung first game ko, we were in Araneta, and I finally got in without paying for the first time, di ba? So nakapasok na ako, doon pa ako sa courtside, tinitignan ko, okay, so this is it pala. I would think I would be like elated, jumping around. Hindi, mas kabado ako eh.
Parang normal na lang.
Hindi, pero mas kabado na ako eh. Because eto na, ang dami ng tao, and it feels so different being there and then talking. But the moment you put on the headset, and I don't know how much of an artist you are, but when you put on that guitar, iba na.
Ibang storya talaga.
There's a switch eh. Sa akin, when I put on the headset, it's a switch. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
This is it.
You suddenly become the sportscaster.
Exactly. And this is my first game. So parang I've been ready pala for a long time na I didn't know. So when I did it, syempre, ang dami sabit at the start. Meron din. Di ba yung mga ganun? Because one thing about being a broadcaster now, and you know this already, is that you have to develop a vocabulary.
Yes.
My vocabulary was song lyrics. Ganun kaikli yung vocabulary ko.
So the technical vocabulary in broadcasting, wala pa.
Oo. Tapos wala pa yung... And I grew up speaking English first before Tagalog. Tagalog yung radyo. So nagta-translate pa ako from English to Tagalog. So I had a filter on. It was a translate filter. Your parents install a filter para wag ka magmura. Diba? That filter was still there in the first couple of games.
And medyo mahirap yun, ha? When you're trying to translate, dyan ka magkakaroon ng lag.
Yes, that's why the non-words, they call, yung mga non-words naglalabasan. And for radio, you don't have time. Kasi nakashoot na, tumatakbo na rito, ganyan ka pa, wala na. Tunog kang buzzer, di ba? So, may iwanan ka na ng game. So, that's how I sucked the first time. But when I started to build the vocabulary na and got better at it, wala na, sanay na. But truly, to answer your question, when I put on the headset, a switch came on. Game na. Ganun yun. Iba yung mentality na nandito lang tayo nagkikwento. But when I put on a headset, I'm already looking already.
Yeah.
Game na yun.
And basically, the rest is history until present day.
Well, I had to work very hard. It was not as easy as it sounded because nga radio is a different animal. But I'm always grateful about my radio training. Nung lumipat na ako sa TV.
Mas madali na.
Ang dali na sa TV because you have all these tools. You have the papers, the stats na you have monitors, may slow motion monitor ka, you have different angles na. Sa radio dati, pinagbabawalan pa kami mag-monitor baka kasi mag-refer kami. So they took out the monitor sa amin.
So, para live lang talaga.
We had a bunch of papers there and just talk about that. Papers namin, kadamihan sponsors pa yun. Itong aping free throws hatid sa atin ng YC Bikini Brief and t-shirt. Totoo yun, ha? Meron kami sponsor sa free throw ng YC Bikini Brief. So we had all of that and we had all of the stats also there. Pero when I moved to TV, sabi ko, ang dami nang pwedeng gawin dito. Take my time already.
Madali na lang.
And the transition was, nasabihan din naman ako na iba, hindi ito katulad ng radyo, ha. Huwag ka masyado madaldal sa TV, there's a video element. That made sense to me. So mas kwentuhan ng nangyari for TV. Then you go back to radio, mas ratrata na naman. So I got used to both in no amount of time. Talagang blended ka agad.
I'm interested to know also, you've been here for a very long time in this industry. Sayang 26 years, no?
My math is correct. Yeah, going on 27, yeah.
What sustained you? The sustenance, what have you done to make it this very far? Kasi madami, they start very strong and then die down in the middle. Pero kayo, sir, until now, you're still here. You're still,
Actually, I think it was the transition in 2001 when we started to, when my friends, Mon Liboro, Benji Santiago, and the late Barry Pascua, we decided, let's try to put up an academy where we can teach these people how to do it. I think it was in the teaching part already when I saw some of my students come in and gagaling pala nila. In fact, our very first batch produced guys like Boyet Season, Mark Zambrano, DJ Suzy came out of that first batch. And these were gifted people that talagang they can smoke you anytime. So when they came up, I have to be on my toes. Ang gagaling nito mga estudyante namin. And I think that sustained it also. I have to keep on reinventing myself and then reinvent myself not only for basketball but for all sports. Yung tipong sepak takraw, kaya mo game. Ganun kaagad,
Miski hindi mo alam.
Well, maybe, hindi ko alam when I see it, pero napag-aralan ko na.
Yeah.
As in, I literally studied all the sports because these kids are gonna kill me one day in basketball.
So bigla ka ngayon parang may shield na, teka muna, I need to be at par or even better.
Pero at the same time, I cannot say naman, ay, hindi ko tuturo to sa'yo, baka kunin mo yung trabaho ko. I cannot be like that. Diba? You always have to give everything. Diba? Sinasabi nga nila, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player in the world. Why? Because he teaches you all his secrets. He teaches you everything. Here's what I do. When I go here, you defend me here. Ganon. Di syempre, alam na natin lahat ng mga Jordan When it comes back next season, doble ng galing niya because he taught you everything. Now he's better at it because now meron siya mga bagong moves.
And may reinvention talagang kayang gawin.
And I think that's what kept me going is the challenge of reinventing myself in an industry na yung mga bata ang gagaling na talaga mapapasok.
So, I'm a proud product of your workshop, the Newbies Broadcasting Academy. I think we need to talk about it a little, no?
Yeah, sure.
Kasi, I see it as your way of giving back to the media industry that has been, a blessing to you for a long time.
Yes.
So, why did you establish this and, what keeps you motivated into doing this over and over again?
The big part talaga is seeing people like you achieve dreams. I mean, at one point, and before I actually got into the PBA pa, it's something I've always wanted to do. But then I see people na always also have the same desire, pero wala silang avenue at saka ngayon siksikan Everybody still thinks that basketball is the pinnacle, di ba? Yung pag naupo ka na sa UAP, pag nakaupo ka na sa PBA, that's the end of it. Well, actually, there's a lot more than that, and then you sort of open that your eyes are open during the workshop. Why do I do this? Your question is why, Why do I still keep on doing this? Is because I want to make sure that you people have something to aim for. There are some people who took the wrong course in college. There are some people who became doctors because their parents told them.
And they didn't want to,
They didn't want to, di ba? Ngayon na medyo established na sila, they have an opportunity. And some kids are in the crossroads right now. I mean, you got these college guys who are about to graduate or kakagraduate lang na mahilig kami sa sports pero hindi namin alam kung saan kami pupunta, ganon. So, we sort of brought this out to enlighten people. So just a little background there, I was part of a group called the Center for Sports Communication. Kaming apat yon. Mon Liboro, myself, Benji Santiago, and Barry Pasqua. We started this in 2001. We had 8 batches, and of some of our graduates from the 8 batches, nabanggit ko nga kanina, Mark Zambrano, Boyd Season, DJ Suzy, Magumar John, Charlie Cuna, Riza Diaz, Chuck Araneta, some pretty big names already in the industry came out of that. And I don't claim na ako nagturo sa kanila.
But you were part of it.
I was part of their journey.
A big part, probably.
Yeah, I was part of their journey, but their achievement to where they are right now, sila talaga nagtrabaho nun. But they started out as students dun sa amin. So I continued that for a while. Nung natapos na yung CSC, yung Center for Sports Communication, because everybody got busy. One got, naging assistant secretary ng DOST. Si Mon Liboro, and then Barry and Benji got really immersed into their broadcasting. Ako naman, sige, so in my spare time, subukan ko. So I had a workshop in San Beda. That's where we discovered Martin Antonio and Cassie Umali. And then I had a few more workshops that we discovered a few people along the way. And then this group called IIFBA, which was actually right here in the Mailong complex na ginawa yan. The International Institute for Film and Broadcast Arts. I had several workshops there. And in 2017, parang wala na. I mean, I got too busy already with what I was doing. And then my good friend Troy Yao, who was also a student of mine in batch 7 of CSC naman, said, let's revive it. Sabi ko, you think may kakagat pa ba rito? Yeah, sige, let's see what we do with it. So we started our first batch called now the Newbies Broadcasting Academy, where I now run it, but I get some of the former grads to be speakers. And of course, some of my mentors, which is Sev Sarmenta, Kinito Henson, Bill Velasco, these are my mentors, diba? And I get some of the grads also. Kayo na magturo. Kayo na nandyan So sila Magumar John, diba? Mix Bustos was also part of that. Risa, Chuck are all speakers na dito sa workshop. And then, yun na nga, nung ginawa namin yun, we didn't think it would be successful. Then, napuno yung klase. I mean, we maxed out at 36. Napuno yung klase na, okay, let's try another one. And then your batch came along. A second batch. You had 28. It wasn't a full class, but for me, it was malaman na klase. Because there are so many from your batch that are actually practicing already now.
Correct.
Yourself included. Diba?
Hindi pa dati.
Now, diba?
Now, yes.
Correct. You don't have to do it overnight, diba? but yourself included. Then we had our third batch, which was 39. We defied it a bit. Tignan nga natin kung kakayanin ko 39. Sabi, I'm never doing 39 again. Mahirap.
Masyado madami.
Masyado marami. So there was 39 of them. But some of them also attained a level of success. And because of the reputation of the products na nakuha natin dito, our batch 4, which is in next week, March 13 to 15 already, was actually full already a month ago.
Yeah.
Puno na siya a month ago. We had 36 students a month ago.
No heavy promotions.
Wala. I mean, we did a few social media things and nothing out of the ordinary. And then there was this group of people from esports that said, we want to go. How many are you? 16. Boom. That's half the class. Almost, diba? Almost half the class. So there's 16 of them who came in, and then yung mga iba nag-snowball na. So by the second week of February, I said, okay, we can't accept any more students. But I'm excited for this new batch. I'm sort of nervous also because I don't really know much about esports. But they're coming in as a group, and we will do our best to give them that. So that's one of the reasons why I do this, is just to give back. In fact, I may some of the people that I taught are now competing with me for jobs already.
Exactly, because so same industry.
Oo, di ba ngayon, ay talo ako kay ganito. Okay lang, may next time pa. Ay talo na naman ako kay ganito. Grabe, my students are getting so good. But it's not because of me, it's because of them. Ganun lang yun.
Yeah. Well, it has been a very good conversation with you. I don't think one episode is enough to talk about your life and story. It's fine. But, you know, one thing that I'd like to probably echo is that, you know, when you pursue something that is really in your heart, regardless of what happens in the middle, kung may obstacles man yan or challenges, sooner or later you will get the hang of it na, teka muna, let's not do this anymore and let's start doing whatever it is
I
that
had
we
to
love.
choose nga between music and sportscasting because it was affecting my health already. Pinagsasabay ko yung dalawa. I was averaging 4 hours of sleep for like 13 years. So I had to make a choice because I also have a family also. I chose the lower paying job because I felt that I would be able to make a difference more in the lower paying job. Kasi yung pera nandyan lang naman yan. You just have to be resourceful enough to find it. But opportunities to touch lives and make a difference, that doesn't happen every day. And I feel that in music maybe it can, but in broadcasting definitely it will happen.
Yeah, in your case it did, no?
Yes.
In fact, until this very moment it's doing
I hope so. I hope so. That's one of my goals actually. Every day is to touch one life a day. That's a goal. If I touch one life a day, quota na ako. Pag nakadalawa, okay na yun. Diba? Okay na.
And you've touched many.
Well, I hope to continue to do that.
How many batches so far, by the way?
Well, for newbies, we're entering our fourth batch. So that's almost 100 people already. But all in all, I think we've already had about 250 students all in all already.
Since 2001.
Since 2001. Actually, hindi. Baka 300 pa nga because there are 2 or 3 batches in CSC that sort of maxed out. So I would think about 300 people already underwent this process. And we don't expect everybody to enter naman the industry. But there are some who have later on, like Chuck Araneta has a great story because he took his workshop in 2005. He made his first appearance in the PBA in 2016. 11 years ang proseso ni Chuck. And now he's one of the anchormen sa PBA. So he had a dream in 2005. It got realized 11 years later. So it's never too late talaga.
I think one thing also that before we end the show, one thing that I could talk about is, you know, remember when I was there as your student, I said that, you know, before coming here, I thought of myself very highly. Like, you know, I pretty much know this, know that. And then when I was there, it brought me to reality na, oops, teka muna, you didn't know everything. You know, there's a lot of people who are better than you.
There are always.
Diba, no? Tapos there's a lot of situations that you don't know anything about. So that brought me into my, parang realization na, teka muna, we need to be babies again and start absorbing.
Right.
And you know, this, although it's a broadcasting workshop, I think it's more than broadcasting. It's a life workshop, to be honest with you,
I sort of mask it as that. Binubuking ko na, no? I sort of mask it as that, but it's really just to get to make you bring out the best in you. I say this at the start of every workshop, is we're here to educate you. But educate, if you look at the etymology of the word, where does it come from? It is actually a Latin word called educere, which means to draw out. Hindi namin kayo bibigyan ng additional, alam nyo na eh. Ever since you were in kindergarten, you already know everything we're gonna teach you. That is true. That poem that says, well, everything you needed to learn, you learned in kindergarten. As a broadcaster, you already know that. You know how to speak in front of a lot of people. Alam mo na yun sa kindergarten, di ba? You know how to negotiate with people, di ba? You know how to convince them. You know how to paint a picture in their mind already. You learned all of that in kindergarten. So when we go into our workshop, we say, we're here to educate you. People are thinking, oh, we're gonna learn something new. No, it's actually, I'm gonna draw it out of you because you already know it. Nilibing nyo lang dyan somewhere. I have 3 days to figure it out, and you have 3 days to figure it out. Like in your case, it didn't take 3 days to figure it out. It took you a few months, but now here you are. You are now pursuing what you attended the workshop for.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Well, sir, it's a pleasure. Salamat sa, story of your life.
There's so much more pa eh.
It's been a blessing. Let's do another session probably.
Of course.
Yeah. So guys, that has been again Mr. Noel, let me rephrase that, the Mr. Noel Zarate.
Standards.
So it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you guys, and again, till the next episode of UCAPehan, this has been your host, Nori Uy.
Kaano na ba katagal na ako ay naglalakad? Paulit-ulit na akong umiikot, naliligaw at napapagod sa kakahanap sa nawawala, sa kakaintay lang sa wala. Paulit-ulit na akong umiikot, nadarapa malapit ng sumuko. Ngunit sa isa